Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for joining our event towards a democratic society with the co-chair system. My name is Hildar. I'm a student and activist. This event is the second in a weekly webinar series organized by the Kurdish Women's Movement. It is organized by GENI, Kurdish Women's Office for Peace. Please note the other upcoming webinars on the flyer. GENI is a representative office of the Kurdish Women's Movement, and part of its mission is to build connections with women's struggles around the world. It is part of Women Weaving the Future, a network of different institutions and structures of the Kurdish women's movement. The network was formed primarily with the aim of building bridges with women's struggles and feminist movements worldwide, to introduce our perspective towards a world women's democratic confederalism, starting from the local towards changing the world by liberating it from patriarchal violence and domination. In 2018, the network organized a conference in which 500 women from all around the world came together to analyze issues like repression, capitalism, poverty, ecocide, colonialism, and patriarchal violence. In today's event, we will learn about the co-chair principle that is being practiced across different elements of the Kurdish women movement or freedom movement. We will learn about the history, theory, and practice of the mechanism from Ayşe Berktay, who will talk to us about the implementation of the co-chair system in the People's Democratic Party. Feel free to use the Zoom or YouTube comment section for upcoming questions regarding today's topic. To introduce our speaker, Ayşe Berktay is an activist of Tevgerajinin Azad, Women's Freedom Movement, and a member of the People's Democratic Party, HDP, Women's Assembly. She is a translator, writer, politician, peace and women's liberation struggle activist. She has been involved in the struggle for freedom, equality, justice, and socialism since her university years. Welcome, Ayşe Berktay.
Hello. Nice to be with you.
So the first...
Is my voice okay?
Yes, it's okay. I can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
So the first question of the evening is about the origin of the idea of co-presidency. Could you explain how the system was established historically?
The system of co-presidency came about as a result of tens of years of struggle of Kurdish women's movement. In the year 2004 and 2005, the Democratic Society movement then was the Kurdish movement, in the name of Democratic Society movement, the predecessor of the Democratic Society Party, was discussing, there was a broad discussion on how to democratize the struggle, how to make the local areas, to replace the centralist system with more localized, more decentralized systems, and how to base the movement on grassroots mobilization, and how to restructure, renew the structure, reconstruct the movement. And an important part of these discussions was the issue of women's liberation, women's freedom, and how to give the women's freedom movement more space and equal space, not more space, but equal space, and a better placement within the movement itself. How to overcome the situation of the inequality of thousands of years, how to struggle again, how to fight this, how to deal with this. All these discussions had a basis, and this all these discussions came along with the paradigm of democratic, ecological, and women liberationist paradigm, the system, the idea. And this, as a result of this, this was linked to the co-presidency system. We can ask the question: what sort of a life do we, as women, envision for ourselves? What are its parameters? Do we hope for a future just for women as isolated from men? Or are we looking for a radically transformed set of relations where men and women coexist? Coexist, exist as in behavra in Kurdish, together, not exist as in subsist and survive. So it's so this was not, of course, women as a major part of the society, I mean half of the society, and as the first first subject of hegemony, exploitation, discrimination, and enslavement, as sex, as a gender, as you could also call it as a nation, a women's nation. I mean, the first address of the hegemonic and discriminationist relationships, this nature, the male dominance, the emergence of patriarchy. So, along with this this co-president, the idea of co-presidency for or co-chairing for women, it wasn't something just about women and men, but it was about including all those sectors and dynamics of society, all those peoples, all those ethnicities, all those faiths and beliefs and sectors discriminated against and left excluded from all this the society, the dynamic developments and politics of the society. So it was about including them all. So we could say so this was in the year 2004, 2005. These discussions were taking place. Women were talking about a social contract, their social contract, because the way we as women want to relate to the society. What are the principles of our relationships with the society? How will the society relate to women? What kind of a relationship it will establish with women? So all these discussions and lots of meetings all over the country. It's in cities. Meetings were held to discuss and all this. So the co-presidency came about, and the first co-presidency was established in Democratic Society Party, the DTP, and Ayşe Tuluk was the first co-chair, the co-president, and she had to live to overcome many difficulties and open the way as the co-president for others. We had this system of co-presidency was not, it was the result of the struggle of a resisting people, resisting Kurdish people and resisting Kurdish women. And it wasn't something about making it into a law, legal. It was about demanding a place within the system for women. And it came about by de facto. It was put into practice de facto. And after after the Democratic Society Party, all the parties following the same line, of the same tradition, had co-presidency in their systems until 2013, when during the democratic dialogue process between the Turkish government, the AKP, and the Kurdish leader Abdullah Öcalan. During this process, it was the government, after dialogue and talks, the government made the democratization package, and in that democratization package, upon the insistence of the Abdullah Öcalan, and also as a result of the long years of struggle of Kurdish women to that end, within that package, the co-presidency system was made a legal one, made legal. I mean, they made an addition, modification to the law, saying that parties, if it is written in their rules, they can have two presidents, two co-presidents, as the general in the party general co-presidents. So this became law in 2013 or 14. So in 2014, after that, but co-presidency was not a system where just for the top leadership of the party. It was practiced at all levels. After it was being practiced at all levels, at city level, at district level, at county level, and in years it came to be practiced at all levels, like co-speakers of commissions. At every place we have this dual system. It in essence, it's not like we would not call co-presidency just something technical. It's not something technical. It's not like just having a man and a woman to replace the one president, to have two just made of one man and one woman. It's not about a technical and a sharing of power. It's not sharing of power. It's about transforming. It's about transformation of that site of power into a place of collective leadership, collective administration, collective government. It's about making a space of uh, a space for women, in terms of for women, but not just for women, but a space for different peoples, different beliefs, different groups, different sectors of the society. It's against this monism, which has become more and more dominant and hegemonic in our country. It's just it's bringing about this pluralism. It's rejecting the monism, the monist nature of power itself. So uh, it's about it's about uh, more in terms of women. It's about giving women a space to participate in equal space for equal participation, a space for equal role and authority in the administration, in administration and in practice. It's about making collective decisions. It's about transforming the hegemonic, the patriarchal nature of man. It's helping man to transform, and it's also about uh, making the more uh, not so apparent abilities of women apparent and put into practice, to have them say their will, to pronounce their will, to have women pronounce their own decision and their own will, and to put it into application. It's about, but this is not just about one woman doing this as a co-president. It is about a woman's movement. It would never be possible, and it can never succeed without the existence of an independent women's movement for freedom. It's the independent women's movement that makes uh, women co-presidents exist, that enables their existence. This gives the life to this, to everything. And in general, we will say that we can say that it's the independent women's movement, the existence of an independent, unique, independent women's movement, making its own decisions and supporting this. Uh, this woman co-president representing a group of women and also being responsible towards that group of women. It's all these collective decision-making mechanisms that make it possible. For example, it was through a lot of struggle all this came into being. It wasn't at all simple. Our comrades, our friends say it was a war, in quotes. They say that they had to fight. It was literal. It was literal and hard struggle. It's men were reluctant to let go of their privileges, of their area of uh, area of power and hegemony. Even our own comrades. And it was, they said, why do we need this? We are struggling all together anyway, and why do we need this? But it's women's struggle, Kurdish women's struggle in the political party it's existed for a long time. It's before this co-presidency system, and the women organized as commissions, as departments, but then and they were off because they participated in the struggle with all their power, with all their will, and played the main role in the struggle. It's they also and with the will of the political will that stood behind them, that supported them, the idea of women's liberation and women's emancipation coming from the very top of the Kurdish freedom struggle. It's from the leadership supporting them, and with all the evaluations and all the thesis and the philosophical work and the ideological work about women's freedom and women's struggle, women, also with the support of this, they had they were represented. For example, women's departments, women's commissions were represented in the central committee of the party. But uh, like first there was a quota for women to get equal representation, towards equal representation. At first, women could only get 40% quota. It wasn't 50%. I mean, of course, 40% for its time was something very important, but the fact that it had to be bargained about, that it was something fought hard for, and the fact that the men always said, okay, 40% for women and 40% for men, and the remaining 20% also for men. This was the idea. But then with the system of co-presidency and equal representation, it was something changed, and women, it's we are dealing with a situation where uh, this is a rule. Like, for example, in the status of the HDP, you have thing in our power to realize this. But of course, we have to still struggle against uh, barriers before us. There are barriers before us still. I mean, it is. It has been. You see, the Kurdish movement struggled in general about is waging a struggle against the hegemonic system in general in the country, against the colonization. But it's not just uh, waging a struggle against this. It's also waging against the struggle against all that is backwards in its society and in the system. All that is uh, discriminatory, all that is exploiting, all that is for pressure, all that is about freedom. It's in that sense, it's this is why this co-chair system, co-presidency, the system of co-presidency came about with women's struggle and with the struggle of with the support of the Kurdish movement, and also with women's struggle, with the society, and also with men and with states. So it has a multi-level struggle that we are talking about. In 2014, we came to another level with um with co-presidency coming in the municipalities. It's with the in 2014 the um, the the BDP, Peace and Democracy Party, the, and the Democratic uh, Democratic and DBP later declared DDP declared that it's going to have co-presidency in municipalities, that we will have co-mayors, not just mayors, but co-mayors. So we had, with the elections in 2014, DBP won 102 municipalities, and in 96 of these municipalities, we had co-mayors. This was a very big step for the local government, for the municipalities, and it meant a lot because the local level, it enabled women to participate in local government, in the municipalities, at an equal level, and in a way that enabled them to make decisions, take steps, and also organize themselves. So it was a very big step in the municipal government, in the local government. In the party, if you look at the party, it's like, for example, we have co-chairs, co-presidents, co-chairs, and we have the women's assemblies at all levels. We have co-speakers in the commissions, but we have women's assemblies at every possible level. Uh, because you see, women's freedom struggle, of course, is the politics of women's struggle, freedom struggle, of course, needs to be uh, decided and carried out by an independent women's organization. But a very important area of the struggle is not the uniquely women, just uniquely women organization, but the combined men and women organizations is the place where we also need to give a lot of struggle, because it is those areas, a small microcosm of the society, that we need to transform. So, in a party, uh, which is of course um, is a structure defined by the system, the male dominant system, the national state system, that is hierarchical in its organization, uh, in spite of all your wishes to make it non-hierarchical. It's this in the party. This struggle is a difficult one. It demands the existence of an autonomous women's organization within the party itself. It demands the organization of the women activists and all the women activists at all levels of the party, to be organized among themselves in assemblies. This is how, so it's the women's co-presidency system depends on the existence of, in our party, of in the depends on the existence and strength of the women's assemblies. We have Central Women's Assembly, we have women's assemblies in cities and in districts. So women get to, these are mechanisms for women to clarify what they think, and then to strongly put their statement, make their statement. It's both control mechanisms and also decision-making mechanisms. So this is how it works within the political party, but also within the municipalities. It is it is a mechanism um, which the co-presidency has its like all the women in the let me say this, like when there are elections, when the candidates are to be determined, it is the women who decide on who are going to be the women candidates. The autonomous women's organization and the party, it's in the party as well. All the women candidates are determined by the women's organization. So it's women who decide, and also for the municipal uh, assembly. The municipal assembly, the elections for the municipal assembly and the mayor are made at the same time. So for the municipal assembly, we have list of candidates. So we have the zipper system. We have one man, one woman. So we no longer are faced with the situation where, in the name of having a quota, uh, they say, okay, we have a quota of so many women candidates, but all the women candidates are in the lower rows, and in the first to be elected in the first rows are the male candidates. We no longer have this. We have the zipper system. So this also makes it possible to get equal representation. And women, the presence of women as co-presidents makes has is it's a system. It's not a tactic. This co-presidency, we should underline this. It is not just a practice. It is a system in itself. It is a strategy. It's a strategy of transforming the society into a democratic, ecologic, and gender women liberationist society. It's a strategy to transform men and women, of enabling women, and also of making men uh, take action and transform themselves to get rid of uh, this mentality whereby they scorn upon women, they degrade women, they the way they think that women cannot achieve anything, they are not able to, they are not wise enough, they are not apt, they do not have the capacity. This is all. This discourse is not something that is foreign to us. That's aligned. It's we are very familiar with it. It's when women started running for as co-presidents, and since this system is not legal in Turkey, legal meaning it's not illegal. The state claims it's illegal. It's not illegal, but it's like because it's not in the law to have co-mayors, we have to abide by the system. We uh, we are doing something like this. We are uh, we have one candidate. We have, of course, we advertise our candidates for as co-mayors. We have posters with co-mayors, men and women on the poster. We declare their co-mayors. But on the election ballot, it's because of the law, there's one mayor, candidate for mayor, and then there's a list of candidates for the municipal assembly. So the way it goes, the one written as mayor, and then the one who gets elected uh, as the first place, with the first, who is in the top of the list of candidates for the municipal assembly, they are the co-mayors. So we have, we the way we it's being done, it's not just having one man and one woman. It's also about having one Kurdish, one Turkish, or one Kurdish and one Syriac, one Kurdish, one Armenian, Assyrian. It's about getting all the peoples of that region represented uh, in the municipal assembly, as well as co-mayors of the city, of the districts. It's so we have we these co-mayors. It's a big struggle, because when you put in some places we have women as written as the candidate for mayor, and the rest in the first place of the municipal assembly is a man. Uh, in other places, it's other vice versa, but it's we get there are difficulties to this. There are protests. People protest. They say, you vote as a mayor woman, and we are not going to win these elections because it's a woman. It's this sort of attitude is everywhere, because it's a big, in spite of everything, in spite of our all this revolutionary spirit and everything, it boils down to the struggle for power by man. It's we have at the local level, it's very intense. Also, when it's about running for the party, for deputies in the parliament, running for the parliament, it also happens. It's the but we are. We are doing well, I would say. It's good struggle, and it's the idea of having how does it change this co-presidency? How does it reflect? Is it just something we are talking about, or does it have a response on the field? In the field, it's do we have can we see it? How does it reflect? Just the fact that you have a man and a woman of different backgrounds, for sure, always. It's and come up before the people and talk and do and propaganda, election propaganda, participate in rallies and in meetings, and talk to the people of our cities, of our villages, of our districts, a man and a woman. It's just the bare fact that they come up on that podium and speak together, address the public. It it makes a whole difference in the way in people's lives, in women's lives. It has its impact on the society. It's places where you would, like men would say, are you going to vote for a woman? It's this sort of thing. But the way with time is things have changed, and it makes a whole lot of a difference. It's Of course, before co-presidency, we had women mayors as mayors. I mean, we had a period like we had at first 3, and then we had 9, and then we had 15, and it went up like this. It's the women mayors. They were they 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 path breakers. They broke the path. You know, they opened the path for with their achievements, with their success, and with the relationships they built with the society, with the local. It's the trust, the confidence they built, and the way they just dealt with the problems of the people in a very intimate manner, not making themselves as mayors, you know, who you cannot
So we will continue right after the Wi-Fi troubles have been solved. But we can use the time to use the Zoom and YouTube comment section to ask upcoming questions. So I think now we can continue, now that you're back.
Yes, it's the internet. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's I was saying it was the first, the pioneering women mayors, of course, and also the existence, the presence of DÖK, Demokratik Özgür Kadın Hareketi, which means it translates as Democratic Free Women's Movement. The presence of this independent women's movement, and also the pioneering women mayors, of course, meant a lot for the initiation of the co-presidency system. Of course, it cannot be talked about as something without mentioning the Kurdish freedom movement and its leader, Mr. Öcalan, and his role in enabling women to start on this path. And well, if we go on from here, I was talking about, for example, I said in municipalities, there are many mechanisms where women clarify their will, their policies, and then go about implementing it. All the elected women, the mayors, the co-mayors, and the members of the municipal assembly, and the employees of the municipality, women employees of the municipality, all form a women's assembly in that municipality. That's where they discuss the needs and the policies. So it's a very horizontal system. And what the things they do about for women in general in society, the steps they take, the decisions they make, it depends on the demands of the women of the city or of the village or of the district. They always hold meetings with women in different neighborhoods of the city or the district. And there they discuss the problems and their demands. That's where demands are clarified, and then they go into action of implementing, making the decisions, taking the decisions, and going about implementing them. It's not something that women in the municipal directorate decide by themselves. This is what we need for women, so we go about and do it. It's always discussed by with the women in the neighborhoods, and it's upon these discussions that they make, like all municipalities have their 5-year plan or the year plan of the program. They also, our municipalities, women's municipalities, also have their women's 5-year plan, women's 1-year plan, action plans. So this is one way of making women as becoming the subject of their own lives, having control of their own lives, and building their own lives within their locality. It's women's. It's they've done many things. It's we have organization, women organized at all levels. It's about we have women organized, it's in their village communes, in their neighborhoods, in their localities. It's uh, uh, it's about organizing women's assemblies and communes at all levels, and having the relationship with the municipality. I said, for example, that there's a women's assembly at the municipality, including all those involved in the work of the municipality, including the employees. But women's organizations or women citizens are free to attend those meetings. It's open. They can attend those meetings. They can speak up their ideas, or they can say what they demand. So these meetings are open to participation from people as well. So it's a very long process. With all its mechanisms. It is we have it is all these mechanisms by women have created have made an intervention in the very patriarchal local politics, the municipalities, because it's about life in the locality. What the municipal it's about the politics of decisions concerning life in a locality, and it was a very male. It has been a very male dominant system. It's a very male dominant area. Without women did not have access, and it was like municipalities in the past, and some also, I mean, talking about our municipalities, they used to be like, it was like as if all their task, all their job was to build roads, do the sewage system and the water system, and collect the garbage and all these technical things, electricity and so forth. And in parentheses, I would like to add that in the Kurdish area of Turkey, the people were not aware that the municipality was supposed to provide them even these services, until Kurdish movement began to win elections and get mayors appointed to the municipalities. They were not aware that the municipality was supposed to build their roads. They were just walking in the mud. Only the area around the municipality was, had some sort of decent road pavement, and all these roads linking the various government offices, and people had to literally trod in the mud. They it, it's they weren't even with the municipalities we won after 2009, 2005 and 9. They started becoming aware of the fact that the municipality was supposed to provide them some service. It wasn't just the building of governmental officials. But even after that, until the co-presidency system, women did not have access to even our own municipalities, which did not have women mayors. So it's with the presence, with co-presidency, women started to see the municipality as something that also belonged to them. They had a part in it because municipalities had uh, directorates of women policies. They had women's solidarity centers. They started opening courses for training courses for women. Like women wanted to say, they said they wanted to learn how to drive, so they opened driving courses for women. And then they started employing women as bus drivers in the municipality. It's they mm, they made it a point, a policy of doing away with the gender discrimination in terms of jobs, what women do and what men do. So they provided women training and education and support at all levels. They provided support for children. They opened education support centers for children. They opened laundry houses for women and provided facilities where children would be able to play. So women getting free time were able to both socialize and also hold meetings and discuss other things. They opened these ground furnace uh, houses for women. For example, in several areas, like for example in Nusaybin, it is women cook bread, they bake bread in these furnaces in the ground. So, and it's a big difficulty for them. So the municipality, they wanted this, and the municipality built ground furnaces, these furnaces for women, where women could go and bake bread all together. And then the municipality thought, maybe we should start to organize some way of telling this could be some employment for women, and maybe we could arrange for women to bake bread there and then to sell and make some income for themselves, sell this bread and make it. But the women, when they heard about this, they said, no, we don't want this. If we do this, then the men will make us bake bread all the time. So they said, the municipality consulted the women with this idea. The municipality thought this was a good idea, but the women objected, saying the men, when they see money coming from this, they will want to keep us at this furnace all the time. We do not want to do this for money. We want to bake our own bread only. So the municipality said, okay, we will do it your way. It's this is it is an interaction between the people and the municipality and the co-mayors, it's the co-presidents. It is something. This is about making politics social based on the people and getting feedback and then doing revising, changing, and it's a very it's I believe it's a very democratic system. It is very radical. It's something about radical democracy. It's about people's power, but not just people as people. It's about women's power as well. Because when we know, we have come to learn that through all these experience, that saying people's power, just people's power, without emphasizing anything, it's come to be read, to be understood as men's power, you know. So I feel the need to emphasize it, women's power, people's power, and women's power. It is, uh, it's, it is the power of doing things together, being, uh, realizing yourself as women and as men, and interact in a healthy interaction with each other. It's women. It's this about this co-presidency system and the co-mayor system. It's we. It has a very strong position on issues of violence against women. It is uh, in municipalities. It's one of its. It has. They have taken our co-mayors have taken it as one of their major tasks to fight violence against women, to establish means of fighting against violence against women, to giving women areas where they can build solidarity and to confront this violence and to find themselves. So it's there are these solidarity centers, counseling centers, psychological help centers, and places where women's houses, where it's called women's houses, women's buildings, women's centers, where women can come together and strategize. And it's after when this government started appointing trustees and replacing our mayors in our municipalities, the first things that these trustees did was to declare the co-presidency system as a crime, one, uh, and to get rid of uh, all the women's centers and all the places where women solidarized, strategized, and fought violence against women. Uh, they closed them. They even closed these refuges for women against from violence. These homes uh, uh, created for women who are subjected to violence. They even closed them, and they even closed them during this period of epidemia, the corona, uh, and leaving. They stopped accepting any. They stopped accepting applications, and it's the presence of co-mayors and the presence of not the co-mayors but the system of co-presidency with all its institutions and all its mechanisms has been a guarantee for women, has empowered women, has given them strength, has enabled them to come outside their homes and to participate in social life as subjects, not just, I mean, as effective, influential, and change-making subjects in social life and political life. But with the destruction of
I think the Wi-Fi connection isn't working again, so I just wanted to remind you that you have the possibility to ask your questions in the Zoom comment section or YouTube comment section.
it's you,
Aisha,
can
uh,
you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. I
Can you
have
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So I have one last question for you. In conclusion, do you think the co-presidency system has changed ideas in society about leadership and doing politics, and especially has it impacted the ability of women in society to participate more in public life or in the field of politics?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Do you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear. Do you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Duyuluyor mu
I can.
sesim?
Can you hear me too? So, to our viewers at home, we have some troubles currently, but I just wanted to tell you that something about our upcoming event. It is next Sunday, and we will be talking about Öcalan, his theories about women's liberation, and we will be joined by Havin Güneşer. She is an activist and an engineer. So please join us next week on Sunday as well. And as I said, feel free to use the Zoom or the YouTube comment section until we have solved the Wi-Fi problem. In the meantime, we want to show you some pictures that were taken from the Kurdish women's movement. For example, campaigning for the elections or the street protests. On the pictures now, you can see the Corporation for Health, which held seminars. So I was told that we will continue in 1 minute. Thank you for your patience. In these pictures, you can see the protests. The sign says the co-chair system is our red line. So I think, Ayşe, you're back?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry for this.
So to our viewers at home, thank you for your understanding, and we're sorry for this little problem. So Ayşe, my last question to you is, I would like to know your opinion on, do you think that the culture system has enabled more women to participate in public life or in the field of politics in general?
Yes, it surely has. It has. The co-chair system has. It's encouraged women for one thing. I mean, it's encouraged women to participate, to see that see examples of women who are becoming co-chairs, and it is co-chairs, women co-chairs also make it a responsibility for themselves to talk to women, to the system as a whole. It's not just the co-chairs themselves, but the system as a whole has created a positive, more positive climate for women, where women are stronger and they're able to do things, and other women are able to see that women are doing things to better their lives, their own lives and lives of other women. It's good to see women struggle and achieve something. It changes the atmosphere uh, among the people and among women themselves. It's create giving them the power, the mechanisms to resist discrimination, to resist the hegemonic approach of men. It's so it's uh, this this facilitates women's participation in struggle and in also in public life. It creates the spaces become more women friendly with all these women's system established in the locality and also in the party. It's this system, wherever it's established, makes the place more women friendly. It makes the place more democratic. It becomes a freer space where you are able to breathe. So it of course encourages women to participate. It does. It surely does. I mean, if you look at it, it's encouraged. It's not. It's not. We shouldn't say that it's all that is done is enough. I mean, it's perfect. It is not. It's at times when women's movement, women's strong struggle, if it once it is at times when it gets weaker, when it gets hit by the fascist state, it's when they arrest women activists, close down women's organizations and women's means of defending themselves. I mean, this is organization is self-defense, right? It's when they get rid of, when they attack all these, and when it the attack, you are not always, the attack has been going on for so many years now, and they attacked one group of leaders of women or activists, and then new comes up, and then they attack this, and so it's a struggle. It is difficult, but it's at times when this gets weaker, it can grow weaker, or there's the problems arise. It's you can we can immediately see its effects on the atmosphere. It's the patriarchy revives itself and starts to make more problems for women. It starts to claim the place for its own. So you need to pick up struggle again, and this discourages women. So it is an interactive struggle. It's an interactive struggle in itself. But it's very telling to see when women's organizations and institutions get attacked. At first, it's women feel it immediately. men at home. I mean, because this is something that oozes into life, that affects life in its all ways. It's the system, the women's system established through the co-presidency, and at all levels has affected social life. Its presence affects social life. It makes women more uh, sure of themselves. They get they are able to uh, act in a different way. So it's when you see the effect of it, when there's any, it becomes shaky, anything becomes shaky, it immediately affects life as a whole, and men, raise their heads. It we have not established a society where there's equality between men and women right now, but we are making progress towards doing it by making women, enabling women, uh, inviting women, and acting together with women, struggling together with women at all levels to establish an equal, just, and free society. Uh, so it is a struggle in itself. It will go on. Many things have changed. We have made great progress, but it's not as if everything is resolved.
Okay, thank you for those detailed insights. This was the final question on my part. We will now continue with the viewers' remarks. So one of the questions is, from your talk, I understand that women are allocated 50% of the seats of the General Assembly of the BDP and all other structures. Is that correct? If so, does it mean that the maximum number of women allowed in the assembly is also 50%? Another question was regarding the LGBTQ community and their status and dynamics within the movement. Could you answer those two questions shortly in 5 minutes?
Yes, it's a minimum 50%. It's you see, it's equal representation. It's not a ceiling. 50% is not a ceiling for women, but we go for equal representation if possible. It's like when we have a 15-member assembly, it's we would rather have 8 women and 7 men than 8 men and 7 women. It's this sort of thing, but it's not 50% strict. It's we have, yes, it's this is our aim, to have equal representation of women at all levels, but it's we have our setbacks. Sometimes we are not able to get 50% exactly, but everybody accepts this as a uh, failure, and we are all striving. Whenever we fail in this, everybody is working to achieve this equal representation, and it has never been a problem to have women over. It's, I mean, we have places where we have more women than men, and that's not a problem. But it is a problem when we have more men than women. We consider it a problem when we have more men than women. It's what was the question about LGBTQ?
So the question was about their status and dynamics within the movement.
It's in our in HDP. It's in the party status and in the program of the party. They have their their place. The LGBTQ are mentioned as a group, and it's also this all this hate discourse and the discriminatory practices against them are something we fight against. It's that we struggle against. It's uh, uh, it's important that they they make their own policies. It's not as if we make policies for them or take steps about them for them. It's about giving them space to be present there and discuss the subject of their own political decisions.
Thank you for your answer. So the last question was or is, has the system been replicated in places like Bashur or spread outside the Kurdish areas to the primary Assyrian areas or even outside the Middle East?
Can you repeat? I couldn't understand.
Yes, sure. So has the system been replicated in places like Bashur or spread outside the Kurdish areas to the primary Assyrian areas or even outside the Middle East? Could you answer that shortly as well?
Yes, it's. I mean, in the Bashur areas, it's wherever the Kurdish movement is exists, the system is there. In the refugee camps, it's there. In Mahmur, it's there. It's in every commission and in every area of struggle, it's there. It's in Rojava is a basic the basic place where it's present, and in Ezidi areas in Shengal, it's there. I know it's. I mean, it's wherever it's outside the Kurdish community. We have it in the Turkish areas, within the Turkish community and other cities in the western parts of Turkey. It's also there are many. HDP is a party like a roof structure umbrella. So its components also its participants, constituent other parties also have this co-chair and co-presidency system. They have uh, they have adopted this. Uh, I know that in Europe, there are some parties that have the co-chair, co-presidency system, like the German Greens and others. But it's not this. It is in like the Greens had it before we did. It's the Greens co-presidency system is earlier. Co-presidency is earlier, but I think I have not been able to study their situation much, but I have the feeling and I have got the impression that it's uh, here what we are doing is more of a system. It's not like a practice being implemented. It is more of a whole system of doing politics and approaching things, and it's like uh, as I said, it's this idea of the havra. It's the system, like you exist together, to be together with man, with all the other groups of the society, and also with nature. You also, yeah, I mean, it's all nature and all the beings, all the living beings, and it's being together, existing together, living together in that sense. So I think there is a difference in the way it's systematized.
So this was the final question. We are once again sorry for our technical problems, but it is a priority to us to interview or to invite women that are directly affected by certain policies or that work in certain political fields. So thank you, Ayşe, for being part of our webinar series, and thank you to the viewers at home who have joined us today. Please note, as I said, the other webinars that will be presented in the next weeks. So see you soon.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Keep well.